Mrs. Lee, as well. I'm walking through a ghost town, y'all ain't playing my sounds. Don't tell me to calm down, don't tell me to calm down. Only time I go backwards is when I wanna moonwalk. Don't test me, my mood's wrong, don't test me, my mood's wrong. We are who we say that we are. Yeah, we're lost in the stars, and it's all from the start. Never running no pace, never on the right page, but we still read that book, and we still run that race. Ay. Mississippi Racer riding out, no shortcuts, no time for that. Mississippi Racer riding out till the wheels fall off, I'm driving that. Mississippi Racer riding out, we'll stop burning, strike the match. Mississippi Racer riding out, red light, green light, red light, good night. Ay. Red light, green light, red light, good night. 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 Time to chill, don't sweat it.
What's up, everybody? We got a special guest, stepping in for Cool. Cool's gonna be in later. You know, you got me, the Godfrey, and then you got Key. Tell him who you are, Key. Tell him where you from.
Hey, I know y'all see me around, Key. I'm always in the building as usual, as I would say. But Eagles fan since day one. And yeah, let's get it.
So are you still in Philly or
I'm in the burbs.
You're in
I'm on the outskirts, but I live about 10 minutes. I live about 10 minutes from Lincoln Financial.
All right, well, you're there. So I mean, that's close enough for sure. There ain't no doubt about that. So that's cool. I'm digging it. Yeah, you guys know who I am. You know what we're gonna do today. Today's a special Birds Deep because there's a game tonight. So the preview is for the Eagles. I got my my dark old school Eagles hat on, you know, and she's got an old school bird too. I'm partial to the Kelly Green, and there won't be any Kelly Green tonight, but what are they doing black on black tonight? I feel like they do black on black on primetime home games.
I think it might be black tonight. I didn't want to wear Jason Kelsey today, and I try to alternate.
Yeah. What I'm looking it up right now. What Eagles uniforms are they wearing tonight? You know, I think black on black. This seems like an appropriate black on black night, doesn't it?
It does. I like the black on blacks. I like the Kellys better. I think that's one of the best uniforms in the NFL, in my opinion. Kelly Greens.
Yeah, a lot of even opposing fans say that too, right? So I do have the official schedule for the uniform, as they say. So today would be no, I think today is it's the green on white, midnight green on white.
Gotcha.
So generic, but that's okay. We're still excited, you know, generic. So yeah, this is a nice victory Thursday coupled in with a victory or a game day Thursday. So the boys got stomped. So you know,
Stomp on the word, but yeah.
Nobody likes the boys, you know, them boys. Some of those guys deny that they even that they don't even want to own that phrase, the broys. So, you know, they don't even want to own the phrase. Isn't that crazy? Them boys, like, didn't they make that up, or is that us?
I don't know. They might have. I don't know. Dallas fans might have made that up, but that's a song, though. You holla, we them boys. So, but they sure enough wasn't making no noise.
Oh yeah, they wasn't making no noise. But they haven't been them boys for a while. I mean, when's the last time they've really contended? Like they had a couple years ago. I mean, it's been a while, right?
When they competed, well, let's see, Dak when they lost in the first round of the playoffs. Well, no, they beat Brady, and then they lost to San Fran.
They got to the semifinals one year against the Rams. I do remember that. Right.
When the NFC Championship game when Dez caught that ball and they said it wasn't a catch.
No, I think that was a semifinal.
Okay.
Yeah. The Romo only won like 2 playoff games, so I mean, you know what the story is with that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's there's no love lost here. As you guys know who listen to the show, I hate the Giants more, but I do hate the Cowboys. But you know, people question that, but I think it's an underrated rivalry, Giants versus Eagles. But be that as it may, unfortunately for the Cowgirls, they stink this year. So we're gonna jump into the grades, and we're gonna dive headfirst into it. Key, just I know you're new to the show. I know you've probably seen it, but we're gonna grade the offense, the defense, and then Jalen. I'll let you pick which of the categories you would like to dive into first.
We can stick with the offensive side of the ball.
All right, so tee off on the offense. Give us your grade for the offense.
A little shaky in the first quarter, first quarter a little bit, but I'm gonna still overall give them an A in my opinion. I mean, besides that, the Hurts interception, if we're going to get to Jalen when we grade him, but overall, I still think the offense rolled after that. Um, Saquon didn't really do much, but he did enough. AJ Brown always open. He's going to find his spots. Smitty is going to be Smitty, and he does the thing. Dallas Goedert came back. Fred was having some issues with Michael Parsons, but they still put up 30 some odd points, almost 40 points on the Cowboys team. But they say their defense is supposed to be good. I'm still giving the offense an A right here. Maybe A minus, not a solid A plus, but A minus closer to a B.
Yeah, I feel like that too. Oh, and Gene actually, he's not here because he's down at the game himself. So, we can't blame him there. Taking a leave of the absence for the show just for a week because, he's going on. Checker Fred. Yeah, Checker Fred is still there. But, forgive me, audience. Is Jordan Mailata back tonight or is he?
Yes, he is.
Okay, very important. Gene gives him a B plus. And so, you're giving him an A. I'm going to go.
I'm more A minus into the B side, but yeah.
I am so close to an A, B minus side, B, I should say B plus, not B minus. I'm going to go with an A, an A minus. And the reason is because, they put up points, they executed. They did get points in the first quarter. Do you remember that this time?
Mm-hmm.
But, that was on the back of a turnover, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, Key. Should have been on the back.
So, but still, it was the first quarter.
So the first quarter, it's hard to be harsh on them when they put up that many points, right?
Right.
And to beat the snot out of them. We have seen times, unfortunately, where the Eagles have come in against the Cowboys when they were limping, and we still, for some reason, fumbled the football, especially in Dallas. Figuratively fumbled the football. This time, they're not full strength. I get it. We weren't. We had Checker Fred. So, that being said, as Gene likes to call him, and Cooper Rush dropped that snap, and I'm giving him an A minus. Saquon did what he needed to do. There were some good throws made. We'll get into some of the mistakes that were made with Jalen. Not a lot. Nobody's gonna be perfect, but we're on a grading system here, so if we're gonna give an A plus. You got to play an A plus game, right? That's as simple as it is. We're not saying he stinks or anything like that, but yeah, I'll give them, an A minus. I was pretty happy with the way they were spreading the ball around. I liked how they got Dallas Goedert more involved. I didn't like that one throw to Dallas Goedert. I know Jalen probably would have wanted that back, and there's a few throws he probably would want back. But unfortunately, with that being said, there's not a whole lot you could do there, improvement wise, outside of things that we'll get into when it comes to the quarterback. Now let's jump into the defense. So
the defense is the A plus run all of me. 5 takeaways. They was tackling. They was getting to the ball. They pressured Cooper Rush. Finally, CJ got a pick. The defense, it's definitely an A. I can't say nothing about the defense. Shaky in the beginning of the season. I was questioning Big Fangio for a second. I gave him the benefit of doubt. He just had to see who he had to work with, see who he can gel together. But Zach Braun, Howie, you gotta pay the man. We're gonna have to pay him. He was all over the place. That's the linebacker we finally was looking for. The Kobe Dean's coming to his own. And do I have to talk about the Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship and Quinton Mitchell?
Is there any Cooper DeJean shirts out there yet? There has to be, right?
I think it is. I think soon as he got signed, I think I seen one. So I'm sure it's somewhere floating around. Blankenship, matter of fact, Reed Blankenship and Cooper DeJean came to the link with shirts of themselves on it that said "Exciting Whites" on it. But defense, You get an A+ for me. There's nothing bad I can say about the defense. Nothing at all.
Yeah. You know, I got to give Howie credit for Zach Bond, but I still got to give him shit with Bryce Huff until he shows up.
Right.
All right. I can't, like, that still feels like I'm smarter than the rest of the room type of move. You know what I mean? And listen, you get credit for Zach Bond, but wasn't as bad as the Justin Jefferson mess up in the draft, but it has some of the similar scent, and you know, maybe he comes into his own, and you know, Bryce Huff has been here with Vic Fangio from the start, right? So is it a problem? Is it a problem? I don't know. Is it something where he's going to develop? I hope so as a fan, but it doesn't sure as hell look like that, does it? I mean, am I missing something? Is there something that
I don't know what he was doing different with the Jets that he can't do here. I mean, he had his for the first couple games, we didn't know he existed. And then when he got some, I'm like, oh, Josh Huff is on his team. He does do something. So I mean, I guess he's starting to come in. I don't know if it's the system. I don't know. But I mean, he's been playing okay for the last couple games. We've actually heard them say they're his name. So
yeah, man. I mean, yeah, this is gonna be the Bryce Huff show, but I have to bring him up every time until he shows up. I'm looking for him. I'm like, yo, where is he at? Huh? Where? Hello? Like Bryce Huff? What? You know, it's just I don't know, man. It's still I don't know. It's a turd move so far. But flush that and move on. The defense gets an A+ from me. They were flying over the place. They smashed them like they should. You should not let a team led by Cooper Rush score more than 10 points unless it's in garbage time. And they did what they were supposed to do. And the Vic Fangio system is the Vic Fangio system took some time to develop. Yeah. But the thing is, I'm not a fan of bend and don't break. And I know in Philly, we're not a fan of bend and don't break. But what we have to understand is I think a lot of NFL defenses are really designed that way. They're designed for you to have a good offense where they have to pass the ball and then you can capitalize and you know, when you're going to where you know they have to go, you can create turnovers. But yeah, it is a bend and don't break, but they couldn't bend us because they were just that banged up. So yeah, I'm going
like, oh, if they had Dak, would have been the same issue. I mean, it probably we still would have lost, but it wouldn't have been no 30-something to 6.
Yeah. So let's get to the coaching. What do you give the coaching? And the coaching just can encompass the whole staff, right? You know, specifically Sirianni. I would say more of the offense. We kind of already did the coaching. We'll skip back to Jalen. But did you feel that Sirianni had any more gaffes this weekend?
No, I don't think these were Nick induced calls because you can tell when Nick calls something because it's dumb. Right off the rip, like Nick called that. I felt like this was a Kellen Moore game, especially since he knows the offense. I mean, he knows Dallas, he knows Cooper Rush, he knows the stadium. I just feel like this was a Kellen Moore type of game. I don't think Nick had any involvement in it because I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, all right, I'm not yelling and fussing at the TV because that was a dumb play. Maybe one or two, but overall, I don't think Nick had his hand in this game.
Yeah. Gene's talking about the song that I believe CJGJ was singing about Cooper. You know, which I thought was pretty cool. It was on the internet. You know, so the team likes the kid. You know, finally we get some damn corners in the draft that are just blue chippers. Him and Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, how we cooked this draft.
Yeah, he just didn't cook free agency. I still not forgiving him for Huff. He got cooked in free agency. Anyway, yeah, they're probably like, oh, you want Bryce Huff? You know, it makes us feel like, why didn't we just pay Hassan Reddick more? But he's a whole nother issue too. So Jalen is on the board here. What do you give Jalen?
But prior to the Cowboys game, he was lights out when it came to not turning the ball over. And, you know, we all criticize him about protecting the football, not turnovers. Well, he had an interception, he's going to Goddard, which I believe he had back. But besides that interception, I mean, he was He handled the ball pretty well. Spread the ball around. You know where Jalen's going to run and do him. You see that tush push, you know it's Jalen Hurts time. Saquon sets him up. Hurts finishes. I mean, I give him a solid A minus. If he didn't have the interception, maybe I would have did it a plus. But the interception, we're going to take that. So I give it a minus. A minus.
Yeah. I thought about this, and he's got a B plus for me.
I did forget about that fumble. He did fumble. That's right.
Yeah, that fumble is what took me down in the B range, because the thing is he's playing good. Listen, let's not lose perspective here, right? Like when we're talking about him, when you talk about him, or what I should say, when you talk about Jalen, we're talking about him in the perspective of how he can improve, how he could be better, and how he can be a better quarterback overall. A lot of us aren't saying, hey, he's not a good quarterback, or he can't be a good quarterback, or he isn't the team's quarterback. And some people take it that way when you criticize Jalen. But in all actuality, this is a league of adjustments, right? Like, so people are going to keep making adjustments to Jalen's game, and he has to keep making adjustments to them. And if he has a penchant to turn over the ball, they're going to try to exploit that, right? So he has taken care of the ball, but I have to wonder, when we face more aggressive defenses, what is going to happen when the passing lanes become smaller, when they take away certain plays that they know we're going to run? You know, how is he going to adapt? And that throw to Dallas, I know he wished he had that back, because that was a horrendous throw. That was off schedule. You know, it almost felt forced. And, you know, the fumble, I mean, that speaks for itself. I mean, you know, and that's the thing about Jalen. Like, he could have these great plays. He could be efficient. But I even go back to the Super Bowl. You know, a lot of people talk about we got ripped off in the Super Bowl. And yeah, that was a bad call in retrospect. But the thing that it was hard for them to overcome, when you look at the game as a whole, was that non-contact fumble that was a touchdown, right? That was 6 free points in a matter of, like, what, 5 seconds?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, when I look at Jalen, he's having a good season. And I want to put it in perspective, because, you know, when we talk about him, sometimes people say, like, oh, you're just ragging on Jalen. No, man, there's other quarterbacks. I watch a lot of football that turn the ball over more than Jalen, or just as bad as Jalen sometimes. But lately, he's been playing hot, in my opinion. I was a little disappointed in that interception and that. But other than that, I do like, you know, he's running the ball 7 for 56, 2 touchdowns, 14 and 20 for 202. In my opinion, with the type of quarterback he is, if he's throwing the ball 40 times, we're in deep doo-doo, you know. So he can't be throwing the ball 40 times. Most quarterbacks shouldn't be throwing the ball 40 times, to be honest. I mean, outside of a couple. And, you know, when I look at Jalen Hurts, you know, it's got to be a mix. He's got to be a hybrid. He's got to be able to pass. He's got to be without. But he put some touch on his deep balls, though, right?
Right.
Is there any pass that you saw during the game that stood out to you, Key?
Well, of course, him and Smitty got this connection when they going down, you know, a deep ball connection. Of course, AJ Brown, he's always open. He's always going to find him. It's just typical Jalen, you know, doing what he's doing. I hate when people say, "Oh, he can't throw the long ball. He don't got to." That you can throw that out the window, because clearly he can throw a deep ball.
Yeah.
I just need him to, you know, get the ball out quicker. Though I hate when he holds on to it. I cringe. I'm like, oh my god,
Exactly.
Throw it away. Don't throw it away. Don't try to run with it. Don't try to make something into nothing. If it's not there, just throw it away. Just throw it away. And like you said, when it comes to other aggressive defenses, you know, Ravens or somebody who we're going to see later on this season, Pittsburgh, he has to get the ball. He has to get the ball out faster. And if he doesn't see anything, either tuck it and run or throw it away.
Yeah. And that's some of the stuff that, you know, I could tell you that's what upsets me. I feel like, I don't know if he's trying to, you know, overperform, prove people wrong, or he's underperforming because he's holding on to the ball. But you have to be decisive with the ball, right? You have to be quick. You can't hold on to the ball. You know, Carson used to do that in a different fashion, but he used to be looking for that downfield throw all the time, hold on to the ball. And you can't do that, because when you play athletic guys like a Micah Parsons or people like that, they're going to come from behind and get you. You know what I mean? You can only but block those guys so long. And he does have a penchant to hold on to the ball too long, which is a bad trait in the NFL. And I think if he could, you know, live the fight another day, run the ball, throw it away, I'm okay with that, right? And that's what I need to see more of him from because there's when I see him mess up in games, it's when he holds on to the ball too long most of the time. You know, there's some kind of ball security issue there too. I feel like he doesn't hold the ball high and tight when he needs to, especially when there's it's in an area that's a high danger area, maybe in a 20 or not to say he's only doing that within the 20-yard line of the opponent or red zone. The thing about it is though, the type of turnover that's unforgivable is a red zone turnover.
I hate it.
You can't. That's the one thing I need him to eliminate from his game because I don't know off the top of my head, but I know that interception was a red zone turnover, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've seen other red zone turnovers from him before in the season, and that's where holding on to the ball too long in the red zone, make a decisive decision, make them have to make a play, run if you have to run, or throw it away. Don't force it because I feel like sometimes he tries to force those throws. And one of the parts of his game that I think he needs to improve is the anticipatory throws rather than, as they say, is he a see it and throw it quarterback, right? Does he see it, then throw it? Or does he throw it to a spot? And he needs to get a little bit better at throwing it to a spot because that kind of seems like what happened on that Dallas Goedert play. There was enough room for him to get him the ball. You know what I mean? And that was just a bad throw. And, Dallas Goedert, I would like to see him play more defense. That's not the throw's not his fault, but kind of come up
right.
in
He could have fought for that a little bit.
Yeah, but that's still not his fault though. I mean, Jalen, he's probably thinking like there's all this real estate ahead of me, like it's got to be farther down the field. You know what I mean? But the red zone turnovers are the killer turnovers, right? You can't have that. Like that is where it's more important to protect the ball. And other than that, man, I don't really have a problem with his game. I like Jalen because I feel like he's ascending. He will work on stuff. He's not going to be perfect, but I always go to the comparison of Josh Allen. He's not Josh Allen; they're different quarterbacks, but they are similar in a sense where they had to have, Josh Allen when he came into the league was a horrendous passer. I question Jalen Hurts becoming a passer that was effective until the year before last year, because to be honest, they weren't letting him throw like that, and he didn't look like he was going to be able to get into a rhythm as a passer. And then he did that jump that Josh Allen did that none of us expected when it happened. And when you look at the turnover numbers, right, you see that they're similar. However, what I see in a difference when I look at those two guys, Josh Allen will take that ball and run it in when he's in the 20-yard line if he has to. You don't see nearly as much red zone turnovers. I don't have the stats off my head. I'm just going about what I'm watching when I'm watching a game, and you remember red zone turnovers. That's where I think that if as soon as he gets that done, man, that's where I think he takes that next step. A little bit more anticipatory throw and a little bit more of red zone turnovers, but there's other quarterbacks that I would rather have Jalen over. A lot of people will talk about other quarterbacks. They'll be like, oh, would you rather have Lamar Jackson? People say I'm crazy. I'd rather have Jalen. Lamar's great. He's fun. But you know what? Jalen's won more playoff games than Lamar. Already.
And he's been to the Super Bowl.
And they build the team around Lamar. They build the team around him too. So you can't say they don't, they I don't know why they trade for receivers in Baltimore.
Yeah, they don't need him. They don't need him.
They got Deontay Johnson, so he could be angry on that team.
I heard he already complaining.
Yeah, so I did like I see he got Johnny Wilson got involved. I like that Jahan Dotson made that nice catch to show that he could do. I think Jahan Dotson is, I don't know why he isn't as more involved in the offense as he should be, but we do have to realize when you got a quarterback that's running the ball 7 times and you're a running team, that there's going to be only so many targets that are going to go around in the passing game. Jalen was 14 to 20. So AJ's going to get his 5 to 6. Smitty's going to get 4. Dallas is going to get a couple. You might get, Saquon out the back. So Jahan Dotson, I like to see that he's blocking, and that was a hell of a catch.
Yeah.
And what I liked about that throw, and I don't know, tell me if you disagree, I feel like that was a I trust you throw.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And we've talked about on the show where like Jalen only trusts certain individuals, And if he's building that chemistry, I like to see that because I think Jahan Dotson is a lot more talented than he's showing up on the stat sheet. Personally, I think that's the best number 3 we've had in a while. He just hasn't been utilized. And I think that was really not him picking up the offense, more so Jalen trusting him, because I've seen plays where Jalen don't trust certain guys. But I have to commend him. I see him targeting guys that he normally doesn't target. He targeted Johnny Wilson. He got his first touchdown.
I mean, he's 6'6".
Yeah.
I mean, I just feel like I just feel like later on in the season, like later on in his career in the season, I feel like we're going to utilize Wilson a lot more. I mean, because he's 6'6", big body in the red zone.
Yes, so people are like, listen, man, I thought that was a tight end out there, straight up, and I was like, oh, that's Johnny Wilson, and he's the size of a tight end. I know he's a receiver, but listen, man, I think, call me crazy, I could see them converting him to a tight end. Everybody says, why would they do that? He's been a receiver. I don't know, man. I just see it. He just, his build, his speed, he reminds me of kind of like a young Jimmy Graham almost.
Mm-hmm.
But the difference is he's not in an offense like the Saints where they were throwing the ball 30 plus times because he had a Drew Brees at quarterback. It was a totally different type of animal, and Shane Payton offense. But yeah, I like to see the young guys getting involved. Kenny can't game well, as Cool likes to affectionately call him. He had some stuff going on there. He was doing all right. And, I'd like to see Will Shipley get a little bit act. We even had Kenny Pickett getting in on the act. Did he have a scoring drive? Did they get a field goal off his drive?
Don't remember.
I'm not gonna lie. When Kenny Pickett got in, I was like, all right, I'm gonna get something from the fridge.
Right.
I was like, all right, I'm not too concerned about this. My over has been my spread has been hit. Let me check my fantasy lineups for the later game at nighttime. Cowboys have been defeated, and that's A++ on my end. But we got a Thursday night football game coming up this week, and do you think that Jalen would be out tonight to prove that he's better than Jaden Daniels, which he is? I think it's preposterous, this conversation I hear, and I know it's the talking heads that want to say Jaden Daniels is better than Jalen Hurts already because he's a new flavor. But I watch a lot of football, folks, and let me tell you something. The Commanders' offensive line is playing well. They're running the ball well. They're passing. The first 2 games I watched with Jaden Daniels, I was like, are they going to let this kid pass the damn ball? It was like ridiculous. And then they kind of open up the floodgates. I'm like, and I think the kid's playing well. I like the kid's story. I like that he's doing well. I hope the Eagles beat the snot out of him. But I look at a lot of teams he played. I mean, have they really? They played the Steelers last week, and people were talking about Russ like he's cooked, but it looks like Russ was still cooking to me, my friend.
Russell looked like his old self again.
Yeah, I mean, he threw that moon ball, and when I watch this Commanders teams, they do have some glaring holes, and I think the players play for Dan Quinn, but I just want to go over real quick who this team has played. Okay, looking at the Washington Commanders here. Go over their schedule real quick. I just want to see who they play. Let's see what kind of games they've had. All right, so the first week they played the Bucks, right? 37-20. I feel like oh, here's Cole. What's up?
Good people.
Can I be the big? Or we got the 3? I'm just rotating here. I'm just joking with you. So listen. When I look at their squad, they played. They beat the Giants. That was an ugly game. I watched that. They beat the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers beat them by 17. Commanders beat the Bengals. I feel like, yeah, that was a decent win. That was the win. Remember, that was that Monday night game where people were like, "Oh, I don't know." I'm trying to remember. Was that Monday or Thursday? I feel like that was Monday. It was a Monday night game. Everybody's like, oh, damn, look at them throwing the ball. And that was like his coming out game, right? Because the first 2 games that Jaden Daniels played, he did not look good, right? And then he looked good in that game. And he's looked pretty good ever since. Commanders and Cardinals. The Cardinals were on a winning streak, but they were playing like Dookie Juice at that point, 42-14. Then they went and played the Browns 34-13. Should beat them. Now the Ravens, they gave a little bit of a run for the money, but they lost 30-23. The Panthers, they smoked, and then they beat the Bears with that Hail Mary play, which was
they should have lost to the Bears.
First off, that guy if he wasn't a second round pick, they would have cut him. He's lucky he was a second round pick, Tyreek Stevenson. They would have cut him. He was waving to the crowd, and he should have been there. That's inexcusable, but they won that game nonetheless. That was a good defense they faced. So really, when you look at that game from an analyst perspective, yeah, they scored 18 points. They really scored 12 points against the Bears. So, and it was all, then you go to the Giants. They beat them again. The Giants are a bad team. And then the Steelers came in and they just edged them out. And they lost the Steelers on the road. So that was a tough game. Steelers are a hard-hitting team. It was a beat-up game. They competed. I'm not saying they're a bad team. I'm just saying I think this sets up for the Eagles at home on a short week. And I think it's going to be something that's going to help them, win this game. But cool. Since you just stepped in, why don't you rattle off your grades for us real quick? Give us, how we usually do. Just give us the 3-minute fastest 3 minutes of football, Chris Berman version of halftime Monday Night Football.
Well, defense went back, and they scored. But nah. Defense gets an A. Offense gets a B. Jalen Hurts gets a C.
You give him a C.
Turn the ball over.
Yes, I need to hear. I want the explanation on the C.
I am punishing him for turning the ball over. I don't care about, it was a great play that Diggs made. You are an NFL quarterback. You are aware that Diggs can make those plays. Maybe we don't make that throw.
Right.
And then the fumble, no excuse. So 2 turnovers, you don't get an A or B for me for 2 turnovers. No, sir.
Okay. Listen.
I have high expectations for QB1.
That's why I have that's why we like the different opinions here. Let me ask you a question. Do you feel, and we kind of went through this diatribe earlier in the show, do you feel that basically Jalen tends to force it and not make a decisive decision holding on to the ball? And I kind of look at that Dallas Goedert throw as like one of those type of throws.
Well, I'll say this. That was the throw that wasn't with the sun in his face. Right. So the other, because you know how it goes every week, 5 or 6 throws that he makes or doesn't make or holds the ball too long. All the Hurts trolls that claim that they're Eagles fans hop on social media and put them up there and try to break them down like they really know how to break down a play. But that one, I feel like it was just it was a bad decision. Like, there's not a quarterback that doesn't make bad decisions, but for some reason, when it's Jalen Hurts that makes a bad decision, it's like the world is crumbling and Kenny Pickett needs to start. And we shouldn't have paid him, and it's just all this just crazy.
Kenny Pickett.
It's all this crazy negativity. It's like, you know what? It was not a good throw, I don't think. We can make the argument that Goddard maybe should have fought for it more, but let's not remember, Dallas Goedert's just getting back from injury. He's not really in game shape. So let's not forget that. I think it's just, if it works out, nobody has anything to say. But in my opinion, whether it works out or not, that's not the play that you want to make. There should have been another route he could have taken.
Watch it from Haiti. All right. I hope you're in a nice part of Haiti because it's rough down there these days. But yeah, I agree with you. My thing, what I was saying, the key is I just want to see him. The turnovers are going to happen as a quarterback, right? I want to see less red zone turnovers. That's the only thing that bothers me. You know what I mean? And I feel like he could have easily made another play, and he was just trying to force. It felt like that ball was forced. So, but that being said, go ahead.
I want to say one thing earlier. So there's been a lot of Cooper DeJean love. Let me make something 1,000% clear. Cooper DeJean is a really good player, right? He is not Quinyon Mitchell. Stop the blasphemy. Continue.
Yo, what's Quinyon's nickname?
The Quintanamo?
No, wasn't it something like the judge or like not the professor. It was something I heard. He's gotten Quintanamo. I've heard there's something. There's a Quinn.
Let's not try to say that Cooper DeJean is not CB1. Quinyon Mitchell is CB1. Put some respect on him. From week 1 of the season, he has been your starting corner, and he has been the best corner on this team. So don't try to belittle what he's doing because you want to play Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean is playing really well. He's, I think, possibly our future QB too, but he is not Quinyon Mitchell, and don't do that. Do not do that. Stop it.
Well, I think you need to take that up with AJ Brown or CJ GJ making that song, calling him.
The song is cool. You hyping up your player. Safety. He's supposed to. CJ is supposed to hype up his teammate. He's supposed to.
No, I know, but you know he was calling him. He was calling him.
Yeah, they always calling him a safety. He's a corner.
Yeah,
he is a corner, but he's not QB1. I mean, he's not CB1.
CB1.
Yeah, he's not CB1.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna start dissecting this game for the Washington Potatoes, the Comrades or the Commies or the Washington football team, whatever the hell you want to call them. That was the worst name ever. Like, you know, the Washington Commanders. Like, I'm like, and now they
all the names. That's what y'all came up with.
Football team.
Yeah.
Is that any better than football team? To be honest with you, though, is Commanders any better than football team? To me, no.
No. Or they could have just.
What up?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just like, yo. But so the Commanders, they had a rough game. Eagles had a game where they kind of cruised. They were resting players toward the end. You know, and a trend that I notice that a lot, and this kind of connects to fantasy football a lot, but people don't realize it. You know, when there's a game on a short week, your RB1, a lot of teams will use them less, right? And I think Saquon was less involved, really, because they were preparing for Thursday. And that's not something that's unusual. It happens a lot when you have a running back at that level, and especially when you're a running football team. You'll see it a lot, and you'll be like, damn, how come so-and-so running back wasn't involved this Sunday? And then you're like, oh, shit, I forgot they're playing Thursday, right? And so I think they're going to come out running this ball. Although, for me, as crazy as it sounds, they have a horrible secondary in Washington. And you can exploit them. And I really think A.J. Brown eats against Washington. I do think he's going to eat. I think they're going to come out running it, though. Oddly enough, there's a lot of teams this year for some reason that they decide to run it first on Washington. And Washington isn't a great run defense, but they're not bad. But their pass defense could be had multiple times. What's the guy's name? DeJuice or something like that? Or whatever that guy's name?
AJ gets him every year.
Yeah, he's going to eat him alive tonight. Yeah, Dookie Juice, whatever his name. What's his name?
It's his actual name. If you want to make it something else, I'm not knocking.
The Juice. Is it the Juice? I forget his name.
I think it is. Yeah.
Saint Juice.
Saint Juice. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know what Saint he's related to because he stinks. He always stinks. And like when I see in fantasy football a wide receiver going against him, yeah, like Booty Juice, whatever he is, he's cheeks. That secondary is cheeks, and they should be able to go after that secondary. And I think they're going to. Hopefully, to me, I think you set up the pass with the play action by establishing the run first and then going to the pass.
Commanders' run defense is 28th.
Right. They're not good. So,
they are almost dead last.
Their thing is they run the ball, and they want to run the ball because they want to keep that defense off the field, right? So to me, the key is run that ball, set up that play action, get up early. They had a knockout drag 'em game with the Steelers, and they're on a short week. We should be able to get on. That offensive line has overperformed, and a lot of people aren't talking about it. That's why Jaden Daniels, compared to Caleb Williams, I think is having a better year. If you switch them, they'd be having the same results because that offensive line in Chicago is crap. That offensive coordinator couldn't coach a Pop Warner team.
Here's where I would disagree. Jaden Daniels has the better legs.
Okay, so I agree. I wouldn't disagree.
Where Caleb Williams is sitting back there. Yeah, half the situations was Caleb Williams back there staring at his pretty nails and stuff. Jaden Daniels would just run.
I'll give you that he has the better legs for sure. But I would.
But to your point, he wouldn't look as good. He wouldn't look as good, but he would look better, I think, than Caleb because of his legs.
Yeah, the O-line has really helped out their rookie, which is good, and that running game because they have been running the ball effectively. And if you can stop the run against them, they're going to be in trouble. And they kind of figured out, I think, after the first couple of games, we're going to have to run this ball, right, to give him some space. And they've been doing that. They ran it okay against the Steelers last week. I watched a lot of that game. I actually watched most of it. And I would say the keys for the Eagles are simple. Like I said, establish the run, stop the run on the other side, set up the play action. You know that AJ is going to eat. It's like a birthday for him every time he plays these guys. And I think you're going to see more passing out of Jalen than usual, successful passing, because I think it's going to set up. And they rested Saquon purposely. They were ahead by a lot, but I think they were giving Gainwell a little bit more touches. And then, when the opportunity opened up for, them to pull the starters because they were ahead by so much, that was a no-brainer for him. So he's coming in fresh to this game. So that's my keys to the game. Cool. What are your keys to the Eagles winning this game?
So Key is going to reiterate this, but run the freaking ball. It's definitely
run the dang ball.
Not turning the ball over is of high importance in this game. Holding on to the ball, making the right throws, making the right decisions. And we talk a lot about like what Saquon had 14 carries for 66 yards, right? But we have to also remember in that game, Hurts had 7 for 56. Shipley had 9 for 34. Gainwell had 7 for 30. So we had over 200 yards rushing. Even though, or very close to it, if it wasn't 200, very close. Simple math tells me it was very close. Maybe not quite 200, but definitely close to 200. And that's the kind of game you want to have. I think a lot of people are focused on who gets the yards, right? For me, it's the totality of the yards running the ball. Because if we're dedicating to the run, Hurts should be getting about 40, 50 yards a game easy because you don't have to plan for that. He just sees that there's nothing there. And what he should have is an internal clock that says take off, right? And if that's 5 times a game, if that's 7 times a game, that's cool. The big thing for me offensively is take what we're given. If they're giving us the short pass, stop trying to throw the ball 70 yards. If they're taking away the mid-level pass and they want to either dump it off the screens or go deep, then take that. If they want to try to take away the pass and have us focus on the run, give them that. We're versatile enough on offense where whatever they want to give us is what we should take and eat them there and make them suffer for doing that. Defensively, we just have to make sure that we're covering correctly, that our CB1, Quinyon Mitchell, our real CB1, is out there doing what he does, and that's, playing ball. Whoever's playing on the other side, whether it's Darius Slay and his bad knee for 5 plays, and then maybe he goes out and comes back or whatever. If it's Isaiah Rodgers, if it's Keely Ringo, whoever's in there at the outside corner positions are covering their man correctly and are able to play zone and able to switch if we need to go to man or we need to go to press. In the slot, if we don't have Cooper DeJean in there, can we find someone else? Please put someone else in that game. Because when Cooper comes out and his backup, who I'm not even going to justify his name the way he's been playing this year, gets in the game, he's already little. He is getting used and manhandled. So if we're going to take Cooper out and put someone else in, can we put one of the safeties in that slot? Right? Because Cooper DeJean to me is really like a safety / corner. He's kind of both, right? So I'm not upset if you call him safety. I'm not upset if you call him corner. But he's like a hybrid. He's a true hybrid safety corner. So that's why he's perfect in the slot, because that's what that position is. It's a hybrid between safety and corner. Let him do his thing. Be aggressive. Put Jalen Hunt in like we did last game. Make that rotation good. We've seen Huff come alive a little bit. Use him like we've been using him sparingly, but when he gets in, have him attack, right? Play Eagles football. Don't worry about what the Commanders are trying to do. Force them to play the game we want defensively and beat them with whatever they are willing to give us offensively. To me, that's the game plan.
Gotcha. So, little bit about there were some nicknames that been going around, and a little bit of one nickname that Quinyon has called Speed Buggy. That. And his granddad gave him that nickname because he's super fast. So real life nickname is Speed Buggy. So I'm like, all right.
I'm not into speed buggy.
I don't.
That's what they call him. He was saying
that don't fit.
Your granddad
like
can call him that, and his aunties and uncles and stuff. That's cool, but I am not calling that man speed buggy.
Not calling another grown man delicious.
I'm not calling delicious speed buggy. None of that.
Delicious. Yeah, I'm not going. Yeah, who's calling him? What?
No, that's a reference. I would just go.
It's a reference. Yeah, it's a movie reference.
Yeah, speed buggy. Well,
you're not doing that.
Yeah. So there's you brought up something in what you were saying, cool, that I wanted to touch on with Jalen. And I think what he's trying to do with, because this is his first year at Kellen Moore, and I see it more and more, is get that internal clock down of when he does have to get rid of the ball or go. Yeah. And I see him improving on that every week. And I like that he brought that up, because that is something where you do have to get a feel for that. And when you change offenses, it kind of clock is different in every offense. And I do feel like that's the thing where I'm like, okay, Jalen, get rid of it. And I do realize when I'm saying that he's kind of feeling that out every week. And so as it goes on and he gets more repetitions, his offense is going to get better, And so I have seen him improve on that incrementally, I feel, every week as far as when to get rid of the ball. There's going to be mistakes here or there. But again, I'm going to hold him to the Josh Allen hubris, right? That's Josh Allen does the same type of stuff, but I don't hear the kind of criticism.
Higher regard to Josh Allen. So
I like Josh Allen's a hell of a QB, and so is Jalen.
Josh Allen's fine, but he's just not the QB for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, well, so I hear you on that.
There's a hot piss on you mentality for everyone else.
Josh for me is more of a gunslinger. Like he'll throw that.
He's a
ball
big body Brett Favre.
Yeah, he is a big boy. But
he's a big body Brett Favre. That's what
I like comparing them, because I feel like both of them have become better passers from the time they entered the NFL, and I think they're on the same level. I just think people look at him differently because he's a big body Brett Favre, and I think sometimes he has way worse turnovers than Jalen, in my opinion. In some games I've seen it, but that's another subject. Key, what are your keys to winning this game?
Protect the ball. Jalen make. It's pretty much similar to what y'all had. I know you can't be different. I mean, we got the same opinions here. Take care of the football. You can't turn the ball over. It's not saying it's Washington, but they're good too. Battle of first place is on the line. Turn over the football. That leads to points. We don't want that. So please protect the ball. Jalen Hurts tonight. Be efficient. Make good decisions. Please don't hold on to the ball. I know they still got some cats on defense that can get to us defensively. Take care of the control the clock with the running game. Saquon's gonna get his yards. If you gotta spread the ball around rushing yards like last week, Jalen, of course, is going to get his rushing yards. We may see Gainwell tonight. Maybe Shipley in garbage time, depending on what it is. I think we should give Shipley some more carries. My opinion. Do a two-headed monster type of situation, how kind of we did with Deuce Buckhalter and Westbrook type of thing, three-headed monster type of thing. Mix it up a little bit. Smitty's gonna get a touchdown tonight. It's his birthday. Smitty's gonna score.
Oh, is it his birthday?
Yep.
I'm putting a bet in. I'm putting a bet in on that. I'm putting a bet in on that.
He dogs the Commanders too. He always has a big, couple of big plays.
He always poops on the Commanders with no TP. So Smitty's definitely gonna get a touchdown tonight. I seen him come in his Sunday best. He's suited down tonight. So turn the ball over. Not turn the ball over. Make smart decisions. Defense. Try to contain Daniels. I know he's a little mobile. You can pressure him a little bit. If you know what they do with mobile quarterbacks, they're going to have somebody on him so he don't go too crazy. But I think if we get enough pressure on Daniels, he'll crack. Ertz is returning home, but he ain't in green. He's unfortunately playing with the enemy. So
is this his first time playing on a enemy field? I mean, coming in opposing.
He played with Arizona. Beat us then too.
Oh yeah, I try to forget about that game.
Hey man,
but
there's nothing to forget about. You can think of Mr. Sirianni for that. You know what I'm saying?
That was that defense too.
Feel the burn. Change just weakness leaving the body, Godfrey. It's just weakness leaving the body. That's all it is.
Yeah. Well, Zach, I wonder. Yeah, Zach Ertz return. He does throw to the tight end, but we know what Zach Ertz is. He catch the ball and falls to the ground. No yak Zach. Welcome back to Philadelphia. He's still doing it quickest man to the ground.
Older now. He say, I ain't doing all that no more.
He's making a business decision. I don't blame him.
Yeah, he says at the time I used to get, but nah.
He could get a couple more $4 million contracts out of that and not take that hit. I hear him on it. You know what I mean? He's been having a good season for him. But yeah, and yeah, I mean, if you're starving for tight end is a wasteland out of a couple guys anyway in fantasy, but it's a damn wasteland.
I got Mark Andrews.
Yeah, well, he was hurting you at the beginning of the season. I had him too, so I stole TJ.
I had him too, and I sure enough picked up Likely. I got both of them on the team.
Man, Likely.
I already knew it was going to fall back to him. I wasn't worried about it.
Yeah, Likely's on the. He's a good player, but right now I'm putting him on the all Bryce Huff team right now.
Not getting me catches.
Yeah, he's on the all Bryce Huff team right now. He's just starting tight end on the Bryce Huff team. I'm gonna put together an all Bryce Huff team. If he doesn't get over 8 sacks this season, I'm gonna make an all Bryce Huff team. He'll be the starting DN. So I'll call it I'll make LJ Smith the coach, the former Eagles tight end. So
not LJ Smith.
I remember. Don't you remember? Everybody's waiting for LJ Smith to just bloom into this dominant tight end, and it never happened. Like, this is the year LJ's gonna break out, and I'm like,
we had to have hope. I mean, we were stuck with it. We had to have hope.
Yeah, we had hope. That's all we had. His middle name should be Hope.
Yeah, that's true. That's all we had. Hope.
People forget some of the bad draft picks. Andy Reid. I'm not saying that one's bad, but like Reggie Brown draft picks, Freddie Mitchell. Yeah, there were some.
What was the firefighter we had?
Oh, Danny Watkins.
But I do want to say, if you're going to talk about Freddie Mitchell, you have to allow him to thank those hands for making him great.
The 4th and 26.
Man, I've run into that guy in the club a couple times at Philly. He was a nice dude for sure, but
somebody seen him at Home Depot. Like I met Deuce Staley at Home Depot, right in Duffer, right in Jersey.
Didn't FedEx get in trouble for getting weed sent to him through FedEx? I believe I read something like that.
I don't know, but if so, that's really silly.
Yeah, something stupid like that. But that was Freddie Mitchell. But yeah, my keys to winning the game, like I said, I already said key. You said your key. No pun intended. Key. But what are our scores? Cool. You shoot off first.
Y'all know where I do this every week. It's always in the same range. I am going 34-17.
34-17. Okay.
Let's say 34-20. We'll give them 20. They might get another field. We'll give them 20. 34-20.
Let's go. I'll do 30-17.
Okay. 30-17. Okay. I'm gonna go 31-13 Eagles.
I like it.
31-13 Eagles. And
when it's high, I like it.
Yeah. So also, do we have any counterfeit greens this week?
I have a counterfeit green. Would you like me to go first?
Yeah.
My counterfeit green is to all the media, all the fanboys, all the people that are up here talking about Nick Sirianni and how he needs to get some respect because, he's had a winning season. The Eagles have made the playoffs every year that he's been here. I heard that specifically from one gentleman that works for ESPN that's also, I guess, part-time announcer for the WWE, and Mr. Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee, whatever you were smoking when you said that, I hope it was good. And everyone else who's been saying that and trying to build this narrative, what in the world are y'all sniffing? You must be hanging out with Tony Khan with the powder tornadoes to sit up on TV, to sit up on your podcast, to have the nerve to type out and try to defend Nick Sirianni. The Eagles have been good in spite of Nick Sirianni. I'm not going to say he hasn't done anything good for the team, but when he tries to inject himself into the play calling, the proof is in the pudding. Last year, games this year that should have been blowouts where the other team came back because we saw Nick Sirianni plays. 4th down, ridiculous calls, unnecessary. We're going to act like none of that happened. You don't mention any of that when you try to praise Nick Sirianni. Again, if he steps back and he just is the cheerleader, the guy that kind of gets everything going, the owner, the operator type role for the team, cool. But when he tries to interject himself into the play calling, it is horrendous. And let's not take that away. So if you're going to spin this narrative, in your narrative, be real and talk about how he blows games and almost blows games with his poor play calling and how he doesn't understand how to be a play caller. If you're not going to say that, I don't really care what you have to say about Nick Sirianni, whoever you are, and you need to stop it. And honestly, you may see this, you may not. Shut up. Find something else to talk about because you don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Keith, you got a counterfeit green?
I don't know if I have one.
Well, I'll hit you one. If you have one, you jump in with it. Otherwise, we'll end the show after mine. But I will say, my counterfeit green is Darius Slay.
No play Slay.
And the reason why he's counterfeit green is because my man's Mr. Glass out there. Like I see him like jump up and down, like just do a senior citizen jumping jack. He's like, damn, my ankle. Oh, I feel like he's at the point in his career where he's making business decisions, and that's fine. I'm not gonna hold the man back from that, but it seems like he's more concerned about his podcast than he is about his on-field play, in my opinion. And I know he's toward the tail end of his career. He's had some great years, but he just seems to be very frail these days. So I'm watching you, Darius Slay, and your act is counterfeit green. Key, you got something for us, or are we just chopping it off?
I need Dom to take, whenever it's a fourth down, just take Nick's headset, so he don't do nothing dumb.
Okay.
Fourth down coming up. We gotta mute the button. Just take his headset so he don't do nothing stupid. That's it.
So what you're saying is her counterfeit green is Nick Sirianni having the headset on fourth down.
Yep.
I like that counterfeit green.
We can't really argue. You can't really argue that because you can't really argue that from what we've seen. So, but with that, folks, we're gonna end things. Thanks for tuning in. You can catch me on Sideline to Sideline on Wire to Wire, and Integrity Sports Network. We'll be also doing that too, Kyle. Yep. You can catch Cool right there. Key, tell them where they can catch you at. I didn't see your particulars in there.
I also behind the scenes on Integrity as well, but I'm on the Sports Wave Network with the 7200 Seconds podcast with me and Coach Dante. So yeah, YouTube channel, Key in the building, everywhere because I'm always here.
There you go.
You'll find me somewhere. I said you can't miss me.
You also catch Key sliding every once in a while on a couple of other shows on Sports Empire Network. But we're gonna force Key to do more with the courtside view this year.
There you go. So with that being said, folks, we're gonna tune out. We're going to not say goodbye forever, but we're just gonna say goodbye for now. And remember, take it birds deep. No Diddy.
No Diddy. And appreciate you hopping on, Key.
No problem.
Peace.